Hello everyone, and thanks for joining me. Today's video will be a different video than the usual videos I make. It's not going to be a card, but it's going to be a review. I'll be showing you the NUVO markers. These are the new markers by Tonic Studios. I have all the 12 sets, and I'll be sharing with you today what I think about these markers. These markers come in sets of 3. You get 3 tones of color for the same color. You have a light, a medium, and a dark color. I kept all the backings from the packages as I wanted to have a color reference and also to know how to group these once they were all opened onto my craft desk. They have like a plastic wrap on the other side, so they come pretty nicely packed. The colors that are available are yellow, red, orange, blue, pink, gray, brown, green, purple. This is a set of neutrals. It is called Fair Skin Tones, and it is a great set for coloring skin. You also can find a set of metallics, and you have gold, silver, and copper, and I'll be showing them all to you in a bit. And one set includes the blender pen, the black, and a medium tone, and this is called Depth and Shadows. First of all these are alcohol based markers like the Copics or the Pro markers are. They have 2 tips. One is a fine tip and the other one is a chisel tip. You can distinguish the tips by the size and shape of the cap. So the small cap is for the fine tip and the chunky cap is for the chisel tip. All markers have a label with the color and the number placed on each cap. There is a bit of a difference between the real color and the color of the label. I only wish they had another label with the color on the side as well, because if I lay these flat onto my table, I don't want to pay attention each time and put them in my container with the label facing me. If I place them the other way, I won't see what the color is, but I will definitely store this vertically, or maybe I will find a way to put a bit of a color onto this upper side also. What I like about these markers is that if you lay them flat, they won't roll because they are not perfectly round. They have a bit of a flat edge, so they will just sit on your table and not move around. I have some stamped images here and I will show you how these colors blend. I'm using Nina Solar White cardstock. This is the 100 pound. Today while I was playing with these markers, I was using the 80 pound, and I've noticed that they bleed too much. They also bleed on the 100 pound, but a bit less. I will show that to you in a moment. So I'm gonna be starting by laying my lightest, then we'll go with my medium, and the last will be the darkest. I'm gonna zoom in a bit so you can see better. I'm using here the chisel tip to cover this area because it is a larger area. So I'm going with the middle and then the darkest. Now I'm gonna do everything backwards and go with the medium once again. And finally the lightest one. I don't know if you can see it, but I have a very nice blend. You can see the dark color, the medium one, and then the lightest color. I will try to add more shading, so I'm gonna be adding more of the dark. Okay, I really like how the reds blend. I do have a bit of color going over the stamped line. I did use the Memento that is perfect for alcohol based markers. I don't know if that's because I went with my color too close to the outer line, or maybe just because they bleed too much into the paper. Here is the back side of my cardstock, and this is how much they bleed. If this is an issue for you, you might want to take that in consideration if you plan to purchase these markers. I'm gonna color a couple of more images, and I will try to start my coloring further away from that outer line. I will try the orange markers, and I'm gonna start once again with the lightest color. I did notice that some colors blend better than others, or I should say quicker than others, and I will show you what I mean by that. You can see the difference between each of the color. With the red ones it was not that obvious. I'm going to try to add more of the medium. And blend all with my lightest. So these were the oranges. I really like how these blended here. I also will test out the blues. And you can see here where I've stayed a bit more inside my stamped image. I don't have the bleeding that I have here or here on the red one. So you might want to consider that when you're coloring with these markers. I think that's because they probably bleed too much. I also have the Copics, and I can say that I get a bit of bleeding with my Copics also, but not as much as with these markers. These are definitely more for like a crafty use and not as professional or high-end use like the Copics are. Because these are alcohol-based markers, they do have that alcohol smell, a bit stronger than the Copics, and I would compare them more like with the Pro markers that I once had. They kind of reminded me of the Pro markers. As I said, there are colors that don't blend that easily, and I will show them to you. For example, the greens. I already knew just by looking at the caps that I won't be able to get a nice blend, because as you can see the colors on the caps, these two are in the same tone of green, and this one is completely different. These two are more like an olive green, and this is more a pine tree green. So it's pretty hard to blend all three, but you get a nice blend with these two. You can see that the difference between the colors is pretty big, and that's why I said they are not easy to blend, but if you get your paper wet enough with the color, they will start blending. You can also try tip to tip and create like a medium tone. I also try these with the Copics, and they blend nicely, so if you don't have a color, you can use other markers as well. You can see that they did blend, and I got a pretty nice blending here. This is the pine tree green that I was telling you about, and you can see here the difference in tone, that this green here is much more of a cooler green than these two are. Let me just scribble all three on a piece of paper here so you can see the difference. So these two are the ones that blend, and this is the green that I personally think that just doesn't match with the other two. I will definitely use all of them because the colors are gorgeous. They're very intense. All the colors are very beautiful. I'm gonna be using this for small images when you don't need a lot of blending, or mix it with other markers, and I can get the shading that I want with only these two. Now the same thing happens with the purples, and I'm not gonna color the entire image. I'm just gonna scribble here on the side so you can see the difference. So this is the light purple, this is the dark purple, and here is the third purple that once again I don't think it matches the other two purples. But as with the greens, I will be using these because they do blend pretty nicely, and we'll use this either with other markers or by itself. Probably many of you use markers for coloring skin or hair, and I wanted to show you the fair skin tones. I think they are great colors for skin. So once again, you have light, medium, and dark. This is the light, the medium, and the dark. They are very beautiful neutral colors. I also love the brown. If you need like for hair coloring, you have the light, the medium, and the dark, and these all are just gorgeous, beautiful tones for the browns as well as for the naturals here. Another great set of neutrals is the set for the grays. I'm gonna scribble them onto this piece of paper. Maybe it can help you see the color better if you're considering in trying out these markers. To me, they look like they have a blue undertone. I really like the grays. You can see that you can get a very beautiful blend here. And there is also another gray with the set that has the blender pen and the black, and I'm just going to scribble this and see how different it is from these other three grays. Okay, so it is much more lighter. Maybe this one is great for like adding, you know, like shading the outer line of a stamped image, maybe making like a halo, because it's pretty light. You can see here how light it is. I'm going to show you the blender pen, and I'm applying a bit of this dark blue, and as you probably know, the blender pen helps either blending two colors, either removing color, and I'm just gonna apply this on top like this, and also make some dots, because you can also add texture with your blending pen, not only remove color. You can see here how the color gets pushed away by the blender pen. and in a couple of seconds everything will be much more lighter than it is right now. I think there is one more set that I have to show you, and that's the yellow. I think they're all gorgeous colors, and for the price that these markers have, I think they are a great addition to your crafting supplies. And I almost forgot there are so many, that there is a set for the pinks, and I absolutely love this one because you have a great pink for like cheeks. So this is the lightest one and absolutely adorable. This is the medium one, and this has to be my favorite. It's delicious. If a color could be delicious, that's the color. And also this fuchsia pink here, it's also gorgeous. This might be my favorite set from all of these, and for cheeks on creatures or people these two are perfect. As I said in the beginning, there is also a set for the metallics, and I'm just gonna grab a piece of black cardstock, and actually I'm gonna test the metallics onto black, vellum, and also craft and see how these perform. So you have gold, silver, and copper. The difference between the metallics and the rest of the markers is in the tip. They don't have the chisel tip, but they have a brush tip, and if you see this white here is no problem at all. They all have the same dot of white. So you have the fine tip and the brush tip. So this is the gold with the brush tip, and the gold with the fine tip. I find that they are more opaque when I use the fine tip. I don't know why, except the copper one. Okay, they have a beautiful metallic effect and a bit of shine and shimmer. I definitely prefer the gold and silver. I'm sure that I will be using them onto my cards to add dots or all sorts of texture. Let me see how they work onto craft cardstock. Oh, this is gorgeous. It's absolutely gorgeous. So yeah, I find that the copper works great on this craft cardstock than the black one. And also the silver. They are very opaque. And shimmery as well as on the black cardstock. And for my last one, I'm gonna try the vellum, and I have to say that I'm amazed. This is absolutely gorgeous. Wait. This is amazing. I wasn't expecting this effect on vellum. And I hope that these will dry on this vellum and that they won't smear. I'm gonna test that in a second. Okay, so here are the metallics on vellum. They're absolutely gorgeous. And I'm rubbing my finger on top, and they don't smear at all. I love them. I absolutely love them on the vellum as well as on the craft. I'm gonna do a quick test on white as well. They're much more intense on lighter cardstock than on dark cardstock, and I was convinced that it was the other way around. Okay, really beautiful. I really love the metallics. So in conclusion, I find that these markers are a great addition to my craft supplies and to my coloring medium collection. The price is very affordable. If I remember well, they cost around $6 maybe a pack, and you can find them on the Tonic website, Tonic Studios, either the US as the UK one, and also I've seen them in the Simon Says Stamp store, and I will put links to all these sources down below in the description box as well as on my blog. I will definitely be using these markers for my cards. I like how they perform. I think they blend very nicely, maybe the green and the purples, but I still can use two of the colors from each set together for blending together, and the third color is anyway a great color that I can mix either with other markers or just use it on its own for smaller images. Yeah, I am very happy with my Tonic markers. I can't wait to play more. I hope you found this helpful. If you have any questions, just leave them in the comments below. If I know the answer, I will definitely reply. I thank you all so much for watching, and I'll be seeing you soon. Bye bye.